Hey guys, and welcome to this third video in the series looking at using the calculator for data. And this video is an example of how it is all working. Now this example comes from a Cambridge Mathematics Year 10 textbook. So we have the question at the top. We're going to dive straight in. The following data set represents the number of flying geese spotted on each day of a 13-day tour of England. So here's our data there. It's all in random order. Now, what we would normally have to do is rewrite that data in order. We don't actually have to do that for this one. We've got a calculator who's going to do this all for us. Now, as you can see off to the corner, off to the side, I have actually already entered in all of my data into a frequency table using the skills from our previous video. All I've got to do now is hit my AC button. Makes it look like it's gone away, but it hasn't. It's still in the background. Shift 1, and I want to go 5. Now, question A is our minimum and maximum score. So I'm going to use option 1 for the minimum score, and it's 1. So probably easy to see these ones anyway. So the minimum score is 1. The maximum score, well, that's pretty easy to see too. That's going to be 18. And again, our calculator can find that for us. Now, especially if we've got out of order data, that's actually a little bit closer together. So it's a little bit less obvious. Next, we want the median. All right, so go shift 1 again into our min-max. We want the median. Median is option 4. Hit equals, and that gives us the number 4. So B is going to be 4. Okay, so now we want the upper and lower quartile. So C is asking us about Q1 and Q2, or Q3 rather. So Q1 and Q3. So option 3 will give us Q1. All right, so Q1, that one equals 2. Q3, let's find Q3. And that's going to be option 5 this time. And we're going to have 5.5. Hopefully you're all following along with this and using those skills from our previous video. Next we want our IQR, so that's D. Alright, so IQR, or interquartile range, is Q3 minus Q1. I'll just pop that off to the side a little bit further. Q3 minus Q1. We might get rid of the calculator altogether. Hang on a second. There we go. All right, so Q3 is 5.5. Q1 is 2. That leaves me with 3.5 as my interquartile range. Next, I need to find my outliers. So outliers use the following formulas. We have Q1 minus 1.5 times the interquartile range, and we have Q3 plus 1.5 times the interquartile range. So these numbers, if you've got any numbers that are less than the Q1 version, well then that's an outlier. Any numbers above the Q3 version, well that's also an outlier. So remembering that outliers are outside of the main set of data. So let's look at this. So Q1 minus 1.5 times IQR, well that's going to be 2 minus 1.5 times the IQR. If I actually put that number in, because we have that value, which is 3.5. Okay, we're actually going to get minus 3.25 as our answer. Now, as you can see, if the lowest score is 1, there's nothing underneath minus 3.25, which means there is no lower outlier. Okay, there's nothing lower than it. Let's look at Q3 now. So it's Q3 plus the 1.5 times IQR. All right, so Q3 is 5.5. We want to use the correct operation. We want to add this one to our 1.5 times 3.5. And for this one, we're going to get 10.75. All right, write that properly. So for this one, we actually do have an outlier. We have 18 is above this value. So that means for E, 18 is an outlier. Okay, so 18 is the outlier. We need to draw that a little bit better. Let's just draw that again. There we go. And that's how it all works. Hopefully you've gotten something out of this series of videos, and see you in the next ones.